Same. I'm with
Oh my gosh,
Pineapple.
All right, buddy.
like in the drawer sometimes. They're just having the time of my life.
Instagram pictures together.
Oh my gosh.
Does it have a Thundercat?
Technology.
What's up, everybody? Oh no. We never doubted on one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome in everybody. My name's Ellie, Tennessee Treasures. You guys are on Launchpad, the Launchpad Reseller Podcast, Season 2. And I'm joined by Bob, Rocket City Reseller.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, host of the train today. Guys, today we have somebody special and extra fun to me, especially. We've got Jen and Kyle, Books and Boards. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you guys are balancing a lot. We've got, you guys are parenting, you guys are running the business. It's a lot going on, right? I guess it's a lot to manage. And I know you guys are kind of scaling right now, so it's really fun to watch. I appreciate y'all being on. And you guys sell in one of our favorite categories. So we're niche down sellers.
Yeah.
By our backgrounds. So we sell toys, right? Toys, books, board games, all the fun stuff. But there's something a little bit special, right? So I got a little icebreaker. It's maybe a little bit weird. So I'm gonna have you try to guess a sound, okay? We'll see if you can guess this sound. Okay, here I go. You guys know what that
Bag
is?
of coins.
Close.
Keys.
Think for your niche.
Oh, game pieces.
Monopoly tokens.
Look at this.
Hey.
Whoa, where'd you get all those?
Monopoly tokens.
Love it.
So I've been collecting these for a while now. Me and my kids love to have a bag, and I'm sure there's a bunch of duplicates in here.
We have so many bags just like that here.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I just saw a recent sale, one of the little spinny wheel things. I don't know, is it a bayonet or something?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be the car all the time. Me and my sister would go to blows over the car.
I'll forget that. I needed money bags.
Yeah, when we were kids, they didn't. Nowadays, they have all these crazy tokens that they can use. We just had the basic ones back.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
The OG ones. Those were the best ones.
Those are
Okay,
the best
so
ones.
question, true or false? One of these game pieces can be worth more than the whole board game itself. True or false?
True.
Yes, true.
Can you tell us about it? Have you ever sold one that's more than Bob? Have you ever sold one? Or
Yeah.
found?
Go ahead.
We had two very vintage rocking horses. We couldn't tell how old they were. They were probably from the 40s or 50s. And we listed them both for $50 a piece, and somebody came in and bought both at $40 a piece, so $80.
Awesome.
That was a cool sale.
Yeah, $80 for 2 tokens, so that was pretty cool.
And we don't even know where they came from. They were just
Well, it was from a bag of Monopoly tokens, like you just had there.
but just random. They belonged to that game. So that was
Wow, that's awesome. So my mom is
I'm at a loss.
Yeah, $40 for a token.
That's awesome. I wouldn't have started picking these up, I think, had it not been for my mom. Her name is Tiny Toys, so she loves little bits and pieces like this. So I started competing with her to grab them.
I love it.
Talk about profit density. Like that's about as incredible as it can get. I bet you guys know a lot about that. Small things for lots of dollars.
Oh yeah.
Profit density is a huge way of kind of moving the needle in reselling. You guys have mastered that game, I would say.
Yeah, we've actually just recently started getting into like cards and other smaller things, and it's the same concept. If you sell Pokemon cards, you know, it's a lot of profit in a small space, and we really get that with the game pieces as well.
Love that. There's one thing about toys that I come to notice is that they're very overlooked. I think because the toy niche has so many sub niches that you can learn about. It's insane the knowledge, just in the toys. So people they know that to get, Thundercats or all the vintage stuff, they know that, but they might not pick up a little Monopoly game. People leave these behind all the time.
Whenever we try to go out and tell people that we sell board games, are you interested in selling your board games? We try reaching out to like estate sale people, and they immediately think of like vintage games. And I have to try to tell them that it's not necessarily vintage games that we're looking for.
And
we want the Monopoly SpongeBob from 10 years ago because we know that those tokens will sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even Monopoly Stranger Things. We just sold more of those tokens yesterday. And that's a newer game.
People just don't think about that.
The tokens are awesome. Risk games.
Yeah, all the risk games, risk pieces.
For game pieces.
So I love picking up all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine how many more I have in some of my bins. I have bins full of toys that I need to get into bins like your back wall there listed. So that's awesome. I've been following along your guys' journey. I had one more trivia question. I guess it says, what is more likely to be worth money? A common generic teddy bear or name brand, something like a Jellycat?
I would say name brand. I'm not too familiar with teddy bears at this point. We have sold a few recently. We've been trying to expand a little bit into more, not just board games. But as far as I'm concerned, anything on eBay, if it has a brand name, that's what people search. It's whatever people search for. That's what you want to list.
Absolutely. What do you say, Bob, the expert in all things plush?
It can vary. I've sold modern day plush for upwards of $65. A lot of times what it is the side characters that you can't find that are not as common. But then again, I've sold a vintage teddy bear before for over $100. So it just kind of depends. Yeah. Someone's childhood favorite, it's hard to put a price tag on, especially if it's a one of one and it's older. So I've sold some things from the 60s and 70s that you would think that would be worth more that wasn't. And then something that was more modern that sold for more, like a Fisher Price Puff Lump or something like that, would be like $60, $70. So I think with any niche, it's important to kind of not just look at one thing, maybe just to look at a few different brands, possibly kind of like clothing in that way, I think. So you would like, if you were into Levi's, not all Levi's sell. Now certain like different models of Levi or whatever they're called, designs of Levi probably would sell well. So I would assume that every niche is like that. And let's talk about the board niche. I want to hear your story first, though.
Yeah.
So what we usually do after the icebreaker is we get into the story of how you came to reselling.
Okay.
And we'll let you give an opportunity to tell us about your business, give us your elevator pitch, and then we'll talk about your story, where people can find you, how you came to reselling after.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to do it?
No, you go.
Okay. Elevator pitch. Well, we are Books and Boards. We've been Books and Boards for about 6 years now, but I've been reselling longer than that. But that Books and Boards is about 6 years old. It started off on Amazon, where we sold almost all of our used board games. They recently made some changes so that we couldn't sell used board games on Amazon anymore. So we shifted everything over to eBay. We were doing a few things on eBay already because some brands you can't sell on Amazon. So we were familiar with it, but we were doing the bulk of it on Amazon. So this past year we had to shift it all to eBay. So everything's on eBay. Let me back up for just a second. About 2 or 3 years ago, we decided that we had a basement full of board games that were just sitting there. They were missing pieces. A lot of incomplete games, and they were just stacking up. And at that point, obviously, we weren't doing game pieces. But we decided that because we were starting to buy some game pieces for our Amazon games, we were like, well, why don't we just sell these game pieces? We're sitting on all this inventory. It'll be a lot of work to try to get it set up and functioning, but we decided that we were going to add game pieces. So fast forward a couple of years, we are now selling almost primarily board games and board game pieces. As you can see behind me, we've got walls of game pieces. We are trying to be the number one game piece and game board seller on eBay. I think right now we are number 2 in the game piece category. I don't know who the number 1 is, but we will get there. And the board game, I think we are number one on the board games. I don't know if I haven't checked recently, but last time I checked, we were number one.
Nice.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about circa when did you start reselling? When did you find the love of reselling? Was it necessity love? Was it out of sheer desperate? Like, tell us a little bit more about what that was like initially for you for reselling.
Well, okay, I grew up with a mom who thrifted all the time. She loves thrift stores, garage sales. My family had yearly garage sales growing up, so I kind of grew up around that. But I really didn't think about reselling as something I could do until it was about 2013.
Yeah.
And I was working a job. I was at a retail store, and they basically told me that you're not going to be able to make any more money doing this job. You either got to, go up to management or go out to corporate. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at that time we had, we just had our second kid. So we were trying to figure out ways that we could be home more often. And I started listening to a podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with Pat Flynn. It's the Smart Passive. It was Smart Passive podcast, Smart Passive Income podcast. And he had this family on, and it was the reselling family. I think they're out in California. And they started telling their story about how they go into retail stores like Target and Walmart and take all their clearance stuff and then sell them on Amazon. And I was like, okay, well, I think I can do that. Like I've been an inventory specialist before, so I knew shipping pretty well. I'm like, I can do that. So I went, bought some things from a Target. I didn't make any money off of it, but I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And so we got into that for a while. We were doing the retail arbitrage, sending everything into Amazon. And we got to a point where the retail stores started changing things up and we weren't finding as much. And we were doing some things at thrift stores because there was some new product at thrift stores that we could send into Amazon. But we always passed this board game aisle in the thrift store. And there were just so many board games. And I also grew up in a family that loved board games. So I was very familiar with them. My dad was familiar with them. At that point, I'd already brought him in and said, hey, do you want to do this with me? And I discovered that Amazon lets you sell used board games at the time. And so we just started going down the aisle, started picking up board games and realizing that not a lot of people knew that you could sell used board games on Amazon. So we just started loading up. We were sending in 30, 40. I ended up getting up to 150 games that I was sending in every week to Amazon. And we started getting our process started where my dad would go through the games because he enjoyed doing that. And then I would send them into Amazon. And and once we started doing that at the thrift stores, that's where I was like, I got to do more with this. I got to start looking at other categories. I got to start. I mean, I love the hunt. I love going out and finding things. I love going into a store, seeing something that's, says $1 on it. And I'm like, I know that's worth $50. And I haven't stopped since. I love doing it. I know we're niched down to board games and board game pieces, but I still love finding all kinds of stuff.
Love it.
So, go ahead, Ellie. Go.
Yeah, can you walk us through a timeline? What year? You said, I guess I'm not sure. You said 2019, I think, but did you start before that, or is that the year y'all started on Amazon?
2013 is when I started realizing that this was a thing. And then 2014 is when I started sending stuff into Amazon. But it wasn't actually until 2019 that we started books and boards, because that's when we discovered that board games were actually a really, really popular thing to sell, and people were paying good money for them.
Yeah.
As long as we do some of the work, going through them, making sure all the pieces are there. As long as we did that, people were willing to pay good money for games. And yeah.
And back then you were doing board games and books and puzzles.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of books, which is where the books and boards comes from.
Started opening up to toys, but we didn't have our game system down. And I wasn't involved. I wasn't doing books and boards back then. It was just Kyle and Don. But when was it, 2 or 3 years ago, we decided we got to niche down to board games and figure this out. So we cut out all books, cut out all puzzles. I stepped in and started doing the game pieces while they're still cranking out and sourcing. And we really fine-tuned our board game process at that point.
I can see you guys have an excellent system.
And once we felt like that was ready, and then he's like, well, I have all these toys. Let's start let's start mixing these in.
May
Yeah,
as well, right?
the books and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a process. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
Jen, when Kyle first came to you and said, "Hey, listen, I want to do this eBay thing," what were your initial thoughts on that? As someone that wasn't reselling at the time,
So
Like-
initially it was the Amazon thing, and he came to me, and we used to sit up. I used to work in a restaurant, and I'd get home at midnight, and we'd sit there and brainstorm. What are we gonna do? We gotta do something else. What are we gonna do? And he brought this whole retail arbitrage selling on Amazon thing to me, and I understood it, but also I was skeptical because I think the first time you went out, my memory tells me you came home with paper towels and Post-its. And I was like, how are you going to make money with paper towels and Post-its?
I love it.
It was not
Okay.
not a good buy.
Like I think the first time you went out, you took like either $100 or $200, and back then it was like, oh, that's,
Yeah, that's like-
that's hurting. You're going to, yeah. But then it turned into this system that him and Don were going out. And I remember, piggy bank,
Yeah, we're doing piggy banks. We did a lot of piggy banks.
A lot of piggy banks. They were they were ceramic piggy banks, and
People love those. I don't know.
Yeah.
they're just bringing them in, and they're just selling like hotcakes. So I put the Amazon app on my phone, and I'm watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys need help. So if the girls were napping, I'd stand in the office and I'd package piggy banks. I'd box up each one because we were sending those into Amazon so they didn't break. And so I'd come home from work and I'd be working on the business. His mom would come over and
she
work
was
on the
helping.
business. I mean, it was like round the clock. I was either at the restaurant or taking care of kids or packaging up piggy banks, and that business grew really fast.
Yeah, that did pretty well.
It did really well, and then COVID happened. And so we kind of took a left turn.
Yes. So walk us through what that was like for y'all, because COVID was an interesting time. There was, obviously lockdown, can't go anywhere. People just could not get their hands on, I would assume, quick enough what you guys sell, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So at that time we had just started doing the board games and doing
okay.
books. That's when we started. We started books and boards right before the
It was
pandemic.
fall of 2019, we branded books and boards.
And it was
It
actually
was right there, right at that.
it was perfect timing because right when COVID hit, we had just stocked our eBay store with books and board games, and so when that hit, we had
Amazon,
some pretty good months.
you couldn't send anything into Amazon that wasn't essential.
Yeah, Amazon.
And we didn't
Oh, wow.
sell essential items, so we kind of went dead in the water with Amazon.
Yeah.
But then the eBay, the books and the board games started selling, and he's like, "I think we got to play into this."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart decision. That was definitely sounds like a pivot, right? Pivot point.
Oh,
for
Yeah.
you guys? Yeah.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, are y'all still working or do you do this full time?
Full time.
Full time.
Full time. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about numbers?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Nothing
Okay,
specific. I mean, I would say,
Yeah.
I would say probably usually when we get into the subject, because it's one of those things that some people are okay with it. Like I could tell you, over the past 2 years, we made $250,000 selling plush. That's just flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could say 6 figures, you could say 7 figures, you can say no figures, none of
Well,
your business, Bob.
Put it like this: we've made enough to replace our jobs. We're not, and
That's
honestly, right now things are getting a little weird out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, the economy is one of those things right now.
Yeah, so we are feeling that a little bit right now, especially with we have 4 kids, so they want to continue living the life they want to live, and we have to be the ones to say, well, we need to cut back on this, and we need to cut back on that. But honestly, I mean, as we mentioned earlier, is the scaling. We're scaling our business at a rate that we haven't done in a long time. So we're putting a lot of work in right now, and usually there's like a month or 2 lag when you put in a bunch of work and then you don't really see it for a couple months. We're finally starting to see that. Like everybody talks about sales, dropping right now, but ours are going up. Our 90-day total is going up. Our daily sales are going up. Our profit margin is actually going up because we're able to get some more out of these things that we're selling. So.
Yeah, average sale price is one of those things you learn over time. I think you start to pick up better items over time, just from experience, I would assume. So that's a lot of what our business grew, and we grew through this. I want to make sure I'm clear that this took 4 years for us to get our business to this point. So it just didn't happen overnight. So anybody that's watching this that's thinking about reselling, just don't be like, hey, I want to quit my job. Bob made X amount of money. He's gonna, whatever. So, and I think you guys probably can attest to that too. It's just, it takes time, it takes systems and processes. And when you're through an expansion period, and we've grown this we've tripled over the last 4 years.
Wow.
I just ran the numbers. Q2 for last year is triple what Q2 of this year is triple what we did last year.
Wow.
So we're experiencing the same thing, growth exponentially. So when I hear the summer slowdown, I always think of like, that doesn't sound exactly right to me. I don't think that is a thing. I think it just, you have to pivot and think about things differently.
Yeah. For as much as you want to get, you want it to be steady, you also have to be constantly, even if it's just minute changes that you're constantly doing, you have to, that's especially with the AI stuff that's going on right now. I mean, stuff is happening, stuff is changing. And if you're not making those little changes to your business constantly, you're going to get left behind.
Systems and processes is something that you mentioned. Once you walk us through the day in the life of Kyle and Jen, so people can have a better idea of what maybe systems and processes are going on behind the scenes. Maybe that'll help give us a little bit of scope.
We just recently changed again because it's like you get to this point where you can't produce anymore at the speed of what you're doing, or like, the schedule. So then you have to change that schedule and pivot, right? So we just made another pivot this last weekend, which is interesting. So go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. So we talk about board games and board game pieces a lot, and that's where we kind of built the foundation of our system off of. We finally just got it to the point where we can, if we get a stack of board games in, it's like, okay, this goes here, this goes there, this needs to happen to this. And then the next step, okay, these ones just came back. Now I need to do this. Now I need to do that. And okay, now it's listed. Like, it's almost like brainless. Like, we don't even have to think about what we're doing with the board games. They come in, they go through our machine, as we call it, and they either get listed complete or they get parted out, and it's just everything kind of flows. We don't have to put much energy into it because that system's already been built. But now we're like I said, we're trying to open that up to other categories and trying to build systems so that we can add on to this board game business. And now we're adding in toys, we're adding in cards, we're adding in books again. Yeah.
All of those things.
But
so
we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have this foundation with our board games, the foundational machine, the foundational system.
So the system change that we just did this last weekend is, I'm basically a photographer, period. And I'm going to be taking a slew of pictures of Pokemon cards, and then a slew of pictures of books, and a slew of pictures of game pieces. And I just give them to him, and he puts them in the computer into different files per their SKUs. And then he's just going to list from there. So I'm just going to continue to take pictures and send them to him. And then he's going to continue to list. Yeah. And his schedule used to be computer work, and then like pick and sort and figure out what listings he's going to do for the day, and then photograph and then list. And he'd be listing up until like midnight, 1 o'clock. Right. And that's not a good schedule. And then wake up, rinse and repeat. So now it's going to be machine over here photographing, and then he's going to do his computer work and then list from the photos, and then more picking and sorting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. We actually employ something pretty similar to that. We've broken things down into systems and processes. We posted a lot on social media about it, specifically Facebook more so than YouTube. But how we separate things in batches. We like to think of it as a batch file. Like, instead of like taking it from soup to nuts, we would basically say, okay, we're going to source it. We're going to bring it home, clean it, We're going to photograph it, and we're doing it all in batches. And most of that is done. The bare share of that actually is done by my wife. She does all the things. However, because she's full-time doing this, I'm part-time. So mostly what I do is logistics. I'll pull the orders for her so that she can do the shipping. But mostly what I do is I do the listing and social media stuff. Okay. So, but I think we each know how to do the other's job.
Yeah.
But I think it is mostly her because she is full time doing this, and she's quick, which really helps.
That's awesome.
So being able to photograph quickly, I would assume, is like a superpower that you guys are really good at. Jen, what's your photo room look like? Like, are you in a light box? Are you like, what does that look like day to day for you?
Yeah, so we have 2 light boxes actually. We've got one down here. This is the basement where I'll part out games. Typically I work upstairs, but we've got another workspace down here, which is nice. This light box is about a 16 by 16.
Yeah, it's small.
It's small. It's meant for game pieces, but it doesn't work out when I'm, photographing game boards. So that's why it's just like up and down. The one upstairs is 3 feet by 3 feet.
Yeah. It's
a 3 by 3. Yeah. So,
but when you have a 22-inch board game, you kind of need that space.
Yeah, I think mine's 24 by 24 inches, 2 feet by 2 feet. So I'm like, dang, that's big.
It's big. It's nice, but it's a lot of bending over too because you got to reach the back of it. So there's that. But so currently, like if you were to walk into our office right now, we have bins of books that he sorted last weekend still that I need to finish taking photos of. We've got some bins of toys that have been sorted and separated. He puts those to the left of the light box, and then I just
it's like a staging area. So I just stage everything that's ready to be photographed, and everything's kind of in its own pile. Our stack, we have a stack of board games, we have a stack of games that need to be parted out, and then we have a bin of toys, a bin of books, and it's all just right there, right by the light box, ready to be photographed.
On the other side of the light box is the bags that we use, the poly bags. Everything that needs bagging, like especially the games, get bagged right away before they go into inventory. So it's just this whole
system. Yeah. So do y'all have a daily goal for listings, and like how big is your store? How many listings do we have?
We are going. I try to keep it under 10,000 because that's the store subscription we have. Because if we go over 10,000, then we start paying 10 cents a listing, which has happened recently because of all the listing that we've been doing. Yeah. But I think we just dropped right below 10,000 again because we've been selling a lot. So that's right around we're right around the 10,000 mark.
10,000. That's a big store.
It's a big store. Our listing goal right now, we're trying to hit $1,000 in sales value a day.
Listings. What does that look like for really games and pieces?
100.
It's a lot of game pieces.
So right. Like what's the average sale price? Like $1,000 in sales, 100 items a day?
Yeah, it can be, especially. So if we have a lot of board games that we're listing, then we can hit that number pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But when we're talking game pieces or even like the smaller toys that we've been doing, it's 100, sometimes 150 listings.
Wow, yeah.
But it's like the because we've parted out so many games, it goes pretty quick for us, and the listing process is very straightforward. We've got it down. We don't have to put a lot of thought into it, so they go pretty quick.
But it's good that we're adding. I know that Pokemon cards don't add a lot. Some of them do, a lot of them don't. But the books, the cards, the toys, the toy sets, having that variety now is making it easier to hit those numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like you can only buy so many games in, a day.
Yeah.
And verify so many games in a day. And we used to say, how are we ever going to hit the numbers that we want to hit? Because our overall goal is 100,000 90 day. We'd love to be there. That's our goal.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Man, that's the kind of goal that I can get behind.
Yeah.
The growth engine, the volume reselling is something that we've talked about multiple times on this podcast, and also the flip side, which you guys can catch on Fridays. And I think we're this coming Sunday, we're going to do a live I think we're gonna pull the pin and we're gonna just go live. I didn't even tell Ellie yet.
Nope.
Ellie's just Ellie's like whatever. But so next Sunday, be on the lookout for that. But we've talked about volume reselling and how that makes a difference in your eBay store, and it's hard to explain that to someone that may be struggling getting 5 up a day.
Yeah.
The difference between that mindset and your mindset. Can you tell us what it was other than absolute need that is driving that? What's your thought process on that?
Well, okay, I don't know if you guys know tech and sports, but when I was getting heavy into eBay, that's who I was listening to, and he always talked about niching down, and the benefits of it. And I mean, I kind of embraced that, and that's kind of what led us to kind of shed all the other stuff that we've been doing and just focus on board games. And by doing that, by focusing on one category, you can streamline your processes so much that you can start doing so many more listings a day because it's all the same. There's no thought process. Like I was getting, and this is even before AI listing was a thing where people could, spit out listings in seconds. Well, I could list board games in 30 seconds. Like if I had the photos, I could just go boom, sell similar off my own listings. I could go through a stack of 50 board games in 2 hours. Like so niching down. I think is on the process side is huge benefits. It's also big benefits on the selling side because you have a lot to offer people. We have people come in and buy 5-6 board games at a time. We have people buy 30 game pieces at a time. So it has so many benefits, in my opinion, of being able to just niche down and be able to just pump through listings.
Cons of that, do you think? What would you say the cons of niching down are?
Cons, I think, are what we have experienced this past year because of AI listing. I think a lot of people are listing in categories that they're not necessarily familiar with. So we're seeing a lot of people listing, but like I saw people listing board games with like 3 words in the title, and I'm like, and so we're just seeing a lot of that. And I'm, obviously I'm not afraid of competition. It is what it is. It makes us stronger, right? When you have more competition, but it definitely highlights just how easy it is for people to put things up now, and
Yeah, so I'll give you a real world example from my 9 to 5. I'm not a full-time reseller. I'm a part-time reseller. I'm a software engineer. I recently had a client come to me and with code that said, "Have you tried this?" I've never once in my 30 years doing this whole thing have I ever had that happen. So that's the difference between the world we're living in with AI. Everybody automatically is a subject matter expert, for the lack of a better word. So they come to you with the most outlandish stuff. They don't know where to put this, where to kind of dial into that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to that at the time? And now we're seeing that in all aspects, not just reselling. We're seeing that everywhere. So AI is both helpful and also deceitful. Yeah. You can't trust it for anything. And I know for a fact because I work with it every day, as predictive analysis, large language models, all this stuff. That's what I do for work. So, yeah.
To get back to the point though, there's so many people, and we were just doing board games and board game pieces. It really kind of forced us to maybe rethink exactly how we're doing things, and instead of trying to say that we don't like this new stuff and we're just going to complain about it, we were like, what? Why don't we join in? Why don't we try to use some of these AI tools? Why don't we expand we've got our board game system down so well. Why don't we use these tools to get into other categories and really try to blow up our business? And that's what we're doing right now.
It sounds like adjacent. Ellie, what do you think? We've been selling toys for a while. Adjacency, like, do you ever think to yourself, I sell toys, what would the next logical thing be to sell? I'm not sure if she's frozen.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Yeah, I see I'm frozen. I might have to exit and enter.
Okay.
I know for me it's tricky because I want to sell everything.
Mhm.
I want to pick up all the stuff, and I have been a little bit lately, but I'm struggling with that line. Do I continue or not?
I'm always fascinated by it. Everything reselling. I'll let Ellie, if you want to back out,
Yeah.
And come back in. We could try that. I'm always fascinated by the everything reseller because I always wonder if we came out of our niche, would it hurt our overall business? And that's a concern, I think, right?
Yeah, I had those concerns when we opened up to toys because when you're a board game reseller and you have people that keep coming back to your store and they're used to seeing board games and game pieces, and all of a sudden you're hitting them with 100 listings of little people and
now you got My Little Ponies showing up on your
figures,
store.
and like that's like these people aren't going to shop here anymore. And I mean, I then dissected our sales for the next 2 weeks, and I said, see, this is why. But I think overall, it's helping our business for sure.
And to your point, I do think that toys, I mean, I think even a lot of it's the toy and game, like games are part of toys.
It's adjacent, right? Yeah. So that definitely helps having a sub niche or a partner, we'll call it. A partner in reselling, which with another category like toys, it makes most of sense. So good for you guys for, thinking adjacent. And maybe that's a trick for some of the resellers that are out there that might be struggling right now. Think adjacent to your niche. If you are niche down, maybe that's the way forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's really no different than a clothing seller adding shoes to their, shirts and pants.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those clothing resellers, it's one of those things I've found some people are struggling and they can't figure out how to sell them. And other people are just like Cougar's Corner. I don't know if you guys follow them on Facebook and YouTube. They do the podcast. Yeah, we do the YouTube, or we do the podcast with them. And I see them selling some of the same stuff that people are struggling to sell. And I often wonder, what exactly is that's causing that?
Well, it's funny too, because I've had people reach out and say, oh, you sell that board game? I can't get that to move on my store. It's been listed for 60 days. And we have sold like a dozen, in the last 60 days. So I wonder what's going on with the algorithm in terms of.
Yeah. Are they like signaling you out because you are niche down and you sold a certain quantity? Is it then gated? Maybe perhaps towards your favor. I always wonder that about eBay.
I think there's definitely potentially that with eBay. I do think that there's also a lot of things that people don't do with their eBay stores that a lot of the tools that eBay offers, like the offers, like the markdown, or, the sale events and all there's the coupons. We utilize everything we can with our eBay store. And I think a lot of people don't either are afraid to use those tools or just don't want to use them. But I do think that helps a lot of the sales that we get that maybe other people don't get in the board game category.
Have you guys noticed any difference since they did the Halo promoted listing? Have you guys saw any change in your eBay traffic or storefront that made a significant difference that you could recall?
I haven't seen any difference in the traffic, but we're definitely paying more in our promoted listings. That's for sure. I mean, it probably jumped from about 30 to 50% of our sales were coming from promoted listings. Now it's like 75% to 85% of our sales are coming from promoted listings. But I can complain about it, but that's not going to change the reality. So we've learned to adapt. We've learned to modify our prices a little bit. We've learned ways to kind of compensate for that.
Yeah, I think for us as well, we were always a dynamic promoted shop for the longest time. We've always promoted because we're very saturated in plush.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of it out there. So what made us different at first, and we were selling volume. When I tell you, it was flying off the shelf. One of the things that I reconsidered after the Halo or whatever you want to call it was perhaps not going dynamic. And I watched it as a data scientist. I watched it and kind of worked the trends. I watched it for about 2 months before I made the ultimate decision. We actually pulled back to 5%. Okay. What I noticed is we're not selling the volume, but the actual profit is the same. So that's what I noticed about our store. Now, whether or not that's the same experience for most, I'm not sure.
We actually did drop. We were at. I was doing 10% fixed rate on the board games. I was doing 5% on the game pieces just because they're less profit per item. So it didn't make sense to put them up more than that. But I did drop. I dropped the board games down to 8%. And for a while there, I was doing game pieces at like 3%, and it didn't really seem to change much in terms of like volume of sales.
So you guys cross list at all?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So my first thing that I was tackling was AI listing using AI software to list. But my next thing is going to be cross listing. I've heard a lot about Nifty. So I think that's the one that we're going to go with. And we have sold a little bit on Mercari in the past. But we're going to cross list. I think I think you have to now.
Well, it's kind of funny that you brought up Nifty because that's the sponsor of today's video. Ironically, hey, if you're into cross listing, inventory control, or just using generative AI to move your business, it's tripled. Like I mentioned, our business over the past year and a half. So I would solely highly recommend trying cross listing. You don't have to try Nifty per se, and you don't have to use Code Rocket City to save 15%. But if you did, I'd be grateful, and podcast would be grateful. And I just wanted to kind of just say that, you know, the first 2 weeks of January paid for the entire year of Nifty. They say it's costly, right? But I will say that, you know, it's $90 a month, but within the first 2 weeks, it paid for the entire year. That's how many sales we ended up with.
That's crazy. So how many platforms do you sell on, Bob?
We sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, and now Whatnot. So 5. We were always a live seller on Whatnot. Okay. So me and my wife have sold over probably 14,000 between both accounts on Whatnot. And also just now bringing stuff out of the marketplace. Since integration, they just recently integrated with Nifty. I think we have like 27 just static lists that sold through. And I was static selling on there already. I sell a lot of Funko on Whatnot. So it's been a game changer for us. I highly, you want to get to that number, that magic number that you're.
Yeah.
I think it's just one more click for me to get you across 5, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm a software engineer. Remember, I don't take things lightly. I take everything in consideration. Is anything 100% perfect for what you need? No, definitely not. And I would say that Nifty is probably like that as well. But I will also say that I have yet to come across anything else. And I've used Vendu for years.
Okay.
And I'll leave that for another podcast. My experience with Vendu. I don't want to do that in this one, but I will say that for the record that Nifty is flawless. It delists your items when they sell across platform. So it's been a real game changer because there's no more, unless somebody sees something through like Google search and buys both items within 10 minutes of each other. That's the only time you'll ever really have a problem. So yeah, it's been a game changer.
Yeah, because I looked at other ones in the past, and that was always the thing that I was like, I just can't risk double selling something. I don't want to risk our accounts and our reputation and all that. But it sounds like some of that's been figured out now.
I would say that Vendu, I will just say that we almost lost our eBay store because of it. And I know I said I wouldn't talk ill will about Vendu, but it's important to understand that it cannot, for whatever reason, stay connected to their backend through the API to be able to reliably delist items. At least that was our experience at the time. Now, this was a year and a half ago. Maybe they've made changes since then.
Right.
But to the point where we were probably maybe a month away from losing our account for unfulfilled orders. So, and we went from that to top rated plus over the past year and a half using Nifty.
Yeah.
The data doesn't lie, right?
Right.
So, but I appreciate you guys letting us talk about Nifty.ai. It really has made a difference for us. And I'm sure it can for a lot of people. I highly recommend cross-listing or diversifying. I mean, just like if you were to play the stock market, right? You wouldn't put everything in one portfolio. You would kind of want to put things in different ones.
Right.
So,
I know we've had books and boards for 6 years, but we kind of feel like babies because it was Amazon and eBay, and then we lost Amazon. So it's almost like we feel like we started over. Do you know?
I will say that I don't know if you guys know Cosmic Deal Heather. She was on the podcast not too long ago. She said that she called it the brand apocalypse. So basically they locked her out of health and beauty for the same reasons. It sounds like maybe they might have locked you guys out of board games.
They locked everybody out of board games.
Yeah, that's what exactly happened with health and beauty.
Yeah, so no more used toys on Amazon, period.
Yeah, it's interesting that, you know, how they're pivoting away from that stuff, and there is a huge secondary market for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just a business decision that they thought that they could make the better deal straight to the manufacturer. Perhaps a lot of that sometimes happens. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like you guys are well on your way through eBay and maybe other platforms. And I will say, for the record, you can sell just about anything on Poshmark. It doesn't have to be clothing.
Yeah.
It's our third biggest platform. We also sell on Etsy. I know you guys talked about a lot of vintage board games and things of that nature.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
and I hear the profit margins are a little better on Etsy for that stuff too.
Vintage traditionally sells really well. So
we've had experience with drop shipping from us on Etsy.
Yeah, people will have our listings up on Etsy.
They'll purchase from us and ship it right to the customer. And there was one game in particular. It was a Candyland. We sell it for $50, and they sold it for $150. And it was like, oh dear, like we need.
Yeah, that's when we were like, okay, I think we need to cross list because that could be our sale.
Yeah, I think a lot of times for us, that's been, well, we've had that experience overseas. A lot of times we get a lot of drop shipping or a lot of like folks that will buy plush from us, that there's countries that you can't sell through on eBay. And I think what happens is they use those as like an alternate site to ship. So we get a lot of that. I mean, it's a sale, right? So that's,
as long as you get the price that you want. Yeah.
But that's kind of the same thing, right? So someone decided to retail arbitrage your eBay store through it, which makes you wonder, if I only had an Etsy account. I will tell you, it takes a lot of time to grow it. We really nurtured that thing, and it's coming in spades now because it's chasing our eBay store. They're neck and neck. It's a horse race between the two.
Okay.
So I will say that for the record. And it's really helped our average sale price as well.
Do you find that, because you have to pay listing fees every month for all your listings, right, on Etsy? Is that
at first? I would say that first year and a half, 2 years, it really hurt.
Yeah.
That 20 cents insertion fee really kind of bit the ankle. But I will say now, in retrospect, I'd pay twice as much, knowing what I know now.
Oh, so it helps.
It's worth it because you're getting probably 30 to 40% more than what you would have gotten from another platform. And I think maybe why that is their clientele is kind of like the difference between Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just a different person shopping there. Not that there's anything right or wrong about either. Both have value. What I'm saying is that maybe there's older money over there. Mm-hmm. And
eBay buyers, they want their good deal.
Right. Yeah. They're looking for that one step above, the yard sale, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or the black market. Whatever. You can't find something. Where are you going to go? Right. eBay. Yeah. So for your guys' business, toys, what do you think is next for you guys?
Besides cross listing.
Besides cross listing.
With your code.
Remember, code Racket City will save you 15% off your first month. Why not?
You should
Why
send
not?
that to me. No, I'll find it on your Facebook.
Yeah.
So
funny.
Central is in the works for us.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Tell us about it.
So last fall, after Amazon dropped us, officially it was like October 30th was the day that we could no longer sell. We were like, what are we going to do? We've got thousands of game pieces. Why don't we start a marketplace for game pieces? So we have a team working on it. We're getting some bugs figured out right now. Primary bug right now is we don't have a shopping cart on the marketplace, so that's going to pose a problem. So we got to work that out. But essentially, we're creating a marketplace for game pieces, and we've got all of our listings from eBay already on Game Piece Central. So it's like
That's fantastic.
yeah, thousands of listings ready to go where you could, Ellie, you could come on to Game Piece Central once it's live and you could just throw all those tokens up that were in your bag that you're shaking.
Yeah. Okay. Is this a personal website or?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's going to be just a game piece marketplace, just like I liken it to, like, are you familiar with Bricklink for Legos or
Brick
TCG?
Monkey, TCG for trading card games.
Well, this Game Piece Central is going to be that for game pieces. It's going to be you're going to be able to find all the game pieces you want. We already have thousands and thousands and thousands of game pieces, so we're able to be that the seed seller on that site, and then hopefully if it grows fast enough, we can bring in some other sellers and really become a place that that board game enthusiasts or resellers who want to complete some games to sell, we can be that resource for them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that's in the works. So
Game domination. I love it. It's almost like a game, right? So which is even more fascinating.
So that's a big project.
Yeah, it's a big project. So like I said, we have a team working on it, and they're doing all that stuff that we just don't really know how to do.
And that alone has been a learning curve. We're not project managers. We're not to actually work with a team and try to communicate what your plan is and what your vision is, and then go back and forth again and again and again, trying to tweak everything. It's been a definite learning curve, but it's fun.
And timing is challenging because we're growing
we're
so
still
much on eBay.
Yeah, trying to do all this stuff.
How do I find time to work on this right now?
So here, my question was, would you guys consider live selling? But it sounds like you got your hands very full.
Yeah, I couldn't even make a 15-second video thanking Sean's Fine for calling us out.
Shout out to Sean's Fine. Here we go.
Shout out to Sean's Fine for sure.
Yeah.
Our hands are full, but
I mean, never say never. I mean, I don't know. We certainly have a lot of things. We have quantity. I know that's a big thing for Whatnot is quantity, right?
Yeah.
We definitely have that. So.
So so I sell live on Whatnot. Sometimes I struggle though, where Bob sells or used to sell plush in the plush category. I would try selling in the toy category, the hard toys, the other toys, I think is what we sell under. I find it hard because I can't run all of these pieces. I don't have enough people in the room to generate interest for LPS, and maybe some of those bigger names will draw people in, but it's just too many different, I think, sub niches that I don't hold the audience that I want. So it's kind of difficult, I think, in the toys. In my opinion, I've only ever sold under other toys and plush. I've never ventured into garage sales or storage units. So I don't know if that'll make a difference, but I've got thousands upon thousands of small toys like this. So I keep on trying it anyway and selling them for a couple bucks a piece,
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know how game pieces would do. I don't know if it would be the same story or if it would draw enough people in, but
yeah.
With the right social media campaign, I will say that anything is possible.
That's her job.
That's true, because I'm in some of these board game communities, some of their groups on Facebook. I haven't ventured in a lot lately, but I used to when I was trying to grow books and boards right out of the gates last August. And they love their game pieces. So it's possible if I can get in there and not get deleted or commenting turned off, which has happened. It's possible we could generate some interest. And
Whatnot is an ever evolving thing. Like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I wouldn't say that the LPS community on Whatnot wasn't what it is now. Slowly, all of the LPS people came kind of finding, oh, hey, we're getting good deals on LPS here. So, I mean, I guess that the same thing can happen in any of these other small categories if you bring the attention to it. So,
I do have a question about Whatnot. Are you? One thing that's always kind of I've been hung up about with Whatnot is the lower profit per item. Is that something that is because you're doing so much in one show? Does it end up working itself out and making it worthwhile, or do you sometimes get done with a show and you're like, wow, that really wasn't worth it, and I could have made more money off of these things on eBay?
Well, that's where I'm at right now. Is I'm ready to just list it on eBay, and that's because of what I'm kind of explaining in the toys. For me, I watch a couple of other people. Some people seem to be able to generate the bids and things like that with the low starts. I don't know, Bob, what do you think?
I've talked to a lot of people about this particular subject, so I have a lot of experience to the podcast with the answer. My answer would vary, but from what I can tell, you make your money in the buy. So that's the trick to Whatnot, right? So if you buy really, really low and sell low, there's still room. It's just the quick nickel, slow dime mentality.
That mindset.
So it's your mindset, right? Now, it takes a while, and I will say Whatnot's a bit of a loss leader. It's kind of like that Costco chicken. You know, they're not making any money off the chicken. They're making money off of the other stuff you're grabbing off the shelf.
Right.
And that's kind of the way Whatnot works, in my opinion. It's all the other stuff that once they buy a few things from you, in for a penny and for a pound, if you have reduced shipping on and they know that they're maxed out and you're going to take care of the rest, I'll pay for the next $9.21 in shipping because they're going to spend another $50.
Right.
So
I don't know. It's a tough thing because everybody, preaches $1 starts, $1 starts. If you sell an item for $1, you're making 30 cents. Sell an item for $2, making like $1.20. So the higher it goes, the better that your percentage is. But I have had luck with just listing the items at the price that I want them for. Even small toys, if I want $10 for a Funko Pop or something, I will list it at that price, run it at that price with pre-bids when I actually list items for pre-bids. So I have had luck like that. It's just not overwhelming. Everybody's not running into here because I've got $1 starts. So
Right.
I don't know. It's tough.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the game pieces, they're low anyway. I mean, there are some higher end game pieces, but for the majority of our game pieces, they start at $2.99 on eBay. So how do you, I don't know.
I think
you have to do like little sets or little.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Lots.
Yeah, I could do lots of pieces.
I would say if you're having trouble with older aged listings, perhaps bundle stuff up in similar categories and maybe go that route. But then again, Whatnot is one of those things like anything. You have to grow and nurture. It's kind of like a garden, right?
Yeah.
You can't expect beautiful flowers out of it right away. You kind of have to tend it and water it. So.
Now there's a girl on there, and I can't think of her name right now, and she has all of her small bins sorted by category in like shoebox bins. So we've got Teletubbies and Paw Patrol and whatever, all the little people, and then she'll start them at higher prices, and she does well. She'll start little people at $5 a piece. She'll start some PVC figures at $3 to $5 a piece, and people will just be like, "Let me see what you got in this category bin," and that works for her. And so I have thought about something like that because it's hard to display all of these little toys, and it's hard to see them too. So
that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have a niche within your niche that would probably do well, and you probably sold this before, but anything tabletop gaming. What have your experience been? Because I'm a old school D&D kid.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we played when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, what was the question again?
So like the tabletop niche, like niching down in the tabletop all together?
Just tabletop?
Just tabletop. Do you think there's enough room there?
Yes, maybe. I think okay. It all boils down to sourcing. I think if you can really fine tune your sourcing so that you are, I mean, probably going into these board game groups where these people have, walls of nicer board games, I think that you can definitely just sell that. For us, obviously, we do a lot of family games,
right?
So I'm not too familiar with that, basically because that's what we can find so many of them, and it's easy for us to get them. So you would definitely, it would be the sourcing. If you could source just designer games and more specialized strategy games, I think you can make it work. I know. I mean, we saw a lot of Axis and Allies and those kinds of war games. So I know there's definitely a good size market for it.
I would say that a lot of us like to hold on to our things when it comes to that type of game. So I would imagine it's harder to source. So
and people want their money for it. I mean, I get it. They, if you spend $60-$70 for a game, you don't want to give it to some reseller for $5.
Yeah, true. Do you guys, now let's talk about sourcing a little bit. I know that you guys hit the thrift store, I would think. Are you guys yard selling, estate sales? How's that work out for you guys?
We are primarily thrift stores. My dad does some thrifting on his own. Otherwise I go out with him or I do my own routes, but we would have weekly routes. We'd hit 20, 30, sometimes 40 thrift stores in a week. And I think it's because not a lot of people think about board games when they're thrifting. Again, because you have to put in the work to get the game piece, to check the game pieces and all that. But recently, there's been some major changes with the thrift stores around us, and prices are going up, and they've taken away some of the discounts and some of the sales that they were typically having. And so we're having to really rethink how we're going about this. We have done some bulk purchasing, like if we've found some people on Facebook who are trying to sell 100 games, and so we get message them and try to buy out their all the games that they're selling. So we're going to have to do more of that because the thrift stores are going up, because the thrift stores are just not as profitable for us as they used to be. Mm-hmm. So we're having to change. I guess all that to say, we were primarily thrift stores. Now we're having to look at some other options.
Okay, so normally what we do at this time of the show, thank you for answering that, by the way, is we're going to go ahead and allow you an opportunity to call out another reseller. And I know Sean's Finds was kind enough to shout you guys out and be able to highlight your business and let us know a little bit more about Books and Boards and how you guys are growing and what's coming next. Now your chance. Who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast?
You had a few that you were.
Okay, so first and foremost, Babos Flips. He has done so many different things with his business. He's bought out storage units. He's now growing like crazy. He's got a similar goal as we do right now. His goal is to put up $500 a day. So I think it's interesting to see, because he's kind of an everything seller, it seems. He'll just get right in there. And when you buy storage units, you don't get to pick what you're going to happen upon. I mean, he had that art gallery storage unit, which I just thought was insane, because now he's got to figure out how he's going to ship all these big, huge paintings, right? No, thank you. But I think he's doing awesome things over there. And then another reseller that I just care for this person, Trippy Hippie Flipper. She's
Babo Flips and then Trippy Hippie Flipper.
Yeah, Babos Flips and Trippy Hippie Flipper. She has called us out so many times for inspiring her on her board game journey. And now she's making tarot cards, which I think are just fantastic. So she's kind of going another angle with her reselling. She's reselling and she's being, creative and in other ways. So those two people.
All right.
But there's so many. I mean, this community is insane.
Yeah, and I think we've all come up on the same time through the Facebook. If you guys, I'm sure you've noticed as well, there's a lot of us that have come up through social media together. It's almost like a family. And you're right. There are so many people that I would love to see on the podcast if there were only so much time scheduling wise. But I think those two are two really good choices.
Good. I know it's like we're so crazy busy over here. I post on Facebook, but my ability to like find the time to scroll and support other people is not as much as I want it to be. So I feel like my feed is like I get 3 people in my feed. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I only pop on, for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So it's crazy, but.
Well, you've highlighted 2 really great resellers to be on the podcast. We appreciate you doing that. This is usually the time where we open things up to questions. And there is a question in the chat. So we'll go ahead and go there. And we'll see how Ellie's audio is doing. Ellie, are you there?
I'm here. I don't know what's up. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay,
do you want to read the question that's in chat?
It says, what is your favorite game to come across, and what is your holy grail?
Holy grail.
I lost it.
It's okay. I can bring it back up.
All right. Favorite game to come across is probably not one that anyone thinks of as something good to come across, but it's a game called Doodle Dice.
I was just thinking that.
It's a little game. There's 6 dice and a cup, and that's all it is.
And cards.
And some cards. But it's this game. It's about this big, so it's pretty small. We happen upon it all the time. It looks just like a kid's game, but it's not a kid's game. So typically thrift stores have them for like $2 or $1. They price them really cheap because it looks like a cheap game. But we get $30 to $35 every day for them. Every time we find one, it's easy to go. It takes seconds to go through. We sell it right away. People are looking for this game. Yeah. We have sold so many copies of this game. It is my favorite to come across because it just, every time I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. $30.
It's like finding a $30 bill on the ground every time.
Right. I love that. Doodle Dice?
Doodle Dice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other half was your holy grail. Something that I know what mine is. I'm going to tell you about it here in a second.
Man, I don't know.
A Franklin Mint Monopoly.
Yeah, we recently found pieces for a Franklin Mint Monopoly.
A money pack that was sealed. We found community chests and chance cards and a box.
That's what we found, though.
That's what we found.
What we haven't found.
We haven't found the full game, and the full game goes for like $400 to $500.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I'm trying to think of like vintage 80s games.
Oh, is the Holy Grail something that we found or not found?
Not found.
Well, I would say probably something that would be like a grailed item. Even if you found it, that's okay. What would be like a grailed item for?
I found a Masters of the Universe board game, and it had all the pieces, and we sold that for like $150, $160. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Some of the games that we've sold for like $200, you wouldn't think of as like high value games. We sold familiar with the TV show Adventure Time, the cartoon?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
We sell plush all the time from that.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going for this much now, but the Munchkin card game came out with an Adventure Time set for the game. It was the full set, and then it had like an expansion set, so it was a two-part thing. I found one of those, and we ended up selling both of them together for like $300. And so that's probably the best sale that we had. Trying to think about that.
Didn't we have an Adventure Time Monopoly too?
Yeah, it was like 100.
Yeah.
I think mine was I'm trying to remember exactly the name of it. The Muppet game that was vintage. It was like a heist. I forget the name of it. I think it was called The Great Escape or something like that. Yeah, something like that. It's Muppet Caper. My wife just reminded me. The Great Muppet Caper. That one we played that thing out so much as kids. I mean, it was all paper. Unfortunately, they just don't last the test of time.
No.
But if you ever come across one of those, I'm your guy.
All right.
There you go.
Put my order in now.
There you go.
Pre-order. So yeah, those are just some of the questions that we're having in chat. If anybody else has another question, be happy to get that in front of books and boards. Now's your chance to ask all the burning questions. Ellie, do you have any other burning questions? What was your favorite board game as a kid, Ellie?
I don't know that I had a favorite.
No?
It was always just Monopoly and Uno. Dominoes.
I'm gonna be that guy that says. I know. Well, my dad played. That's all they played growing up is dominoes. So
yeah, we love that strategy game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that says I don't like Monopoly, and here's why: it brings out the worst in people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It can. I should say. Maybe not everybody plays as savagely as I've seen. What are your guys' thoughts on Monopoly?
We had a round last Thanksgiving.
I definitely enjoy selling Monopoly games more than playing it.
Enjoy playing.
Yeah, it's a long game too.
So I homeschool, so I use it as a homeschooling tool. It's fun to play. It's ridiculously long, but the kids get a little bit of a gist of like, what is the Monopoly, and because they were asking all the questions and just strategize.
Mm-hmm.
So we played a couple times, and people are like, how do these kids know how to play? Like they're adults playing, they won't make the deals. They won't do the trades.
Oh, that's great.
We've gotten our kids into Catan. So it's a lot of resource, communication back and forth. So.
Not doing trades.
Yeah. Yep. Teach them to be tough.
Yeah.
Business people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do have one last question for you. You guys also have 4 kids. I have 4 kids. Running this business, especially at the scale that you guys are, like, that's my goal. I barely started listing last month. I think I'm about 300 listings now. So what's the work-life balance? What does that look like, working together side by side, managing marriage, kids, business? What's that look like for you?
Well, I'll start by saying the reason why we wanted to do this is so that we could be extremely flexible with our time, so that we could do the things with our kids that we wanted to do. We didn't have to answer to someone else and say no, hey, can I get this time off? Like that's why we did this, is because we wanted that freedom. It definitely still has its challenges, because you have to still make sure that you're putting in the time to get the things done that you need to get done. And so there's definitely this pull between, okay, I'm doing this business so that I can spend time with my family, but I also have to sometimes say no to spending time with family because I have to do the business. So it kind of gets into this little cycle. So you really have, it's constantly changing. Our schedules are constantly changing. We're constantly trying to find ways to streamline processes so that it takes less time so we can have more time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely the biggest benefit is that if the kids need something, we can drop what we're doing and we can do it. We can help them, or we can bring them over to this place, or pick them up there, or take them to the doctor without having to really worry about anybody saying, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of that. Plus, I think the biggest thing for me has been one moment at a time. I don't think about tomorrow because I can't think about tomorrow. I can only think about like right now. What are we doing right now? Okay. And
there's so many things. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ellie, I don't know how old your kids are. How old are your kids?
I've got a 3, 9, 10, and 15 almost.
Okay.
Same
that's
as
like,
us.
That's us. And it's like, there's constantly things coming up.
Yeah, there's always something happening now. So I can definitely resonate with I can't really think about tomorrow.
Right.
Because everything's happening right now.
You think you have a schedule for the day, and then 3 other things pop up, and you're like, okay, yep, we can do that. Yep, we can do that. So yeah, it's one moment at a time. And
Absolutely.
Don't stress about the future because it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a workforce in place, though. I'm just gonna get those kids, farm them out, get them listening.
Trying to get our 14-year-old to work on the business it's a lost cause.
We went through that with ours and had no interest whatsoever. Yeah. Even something that he was super interested in.
So. Yeah, she's trying, but she's the slowest. I'm like, kid, you want to make money.
Yeah, Evie helped me ship a couple summers ago, which was good. But I mean, I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning to ship back then, so that didn't last very long. Zoe started helping us clean games, but then she started falling behind in her schoolwork, so we had to take it out away from
Yeah,
her.
that's not that doesn't work.
Yeah, we'll see though. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've planted a seed at least, right?
Yeah, the whole entrepreneurial seed, I think, has been planted.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was another big thing, is that we just wanted to show them that if you want to go out and do something, you can do it. You can put it together. You can do all the things that you need to do to push forward with whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a great lesson to teach your children. I'm a firm believer in that. Probably more so than just about anything that we're showing them in a public environment in school. I think those are the things that are not being taught in public education right now.
Yeah.
So how to run a business, balance a checkbook, do all the things that it takes.
Communication.
Do your taxes, do all the things that required.
Yeah.
It's interesting how all that stuff never gets talked about in the education system. So
That's crazy.
the fact that you guys are doing all that stuff and they're seeing you guys succeed in your own business is a testament to your character and to your parenting style. So we'll go ahead and end it there. I want to thank you so much for being a part of the Launchpad Reseller Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. You guys are absolute legends. We want to thank you so much for doing that.
Definitely.
We're going to give you one last chance to talk to your community. All right. So I want to make you big. I'm going to give you a chance to speak to your community, and feel free to say from the heart what that means to you.
Oh, this is on me now.
This is your world.
I hope I don't cry because I'm a crier, but this has just been the most amazing experience, sharing our business and our family and our life with everyone, and Don included. He loves this community. We love this community. So thank you for being here and supporting us. And we in turn support you. And yep, there I go. I'm crying. Yeah. So anybody that's out there that's reselling, it is a grind and it is hard, but just keep showing up every day. That's all it takes. Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
You did it. You did it.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I know that your community is also proud of you. I want to thank you again for being part of Launchpad Reseller Podcast. I want to remind you guys of one thing. If you cannot be good at it. We're going to catch you on the next Launchpad Reseller Podcast. Until next time. Hang on, guys. I got one more last question for you offline.